Hello, everyone. This is Huzaifa from my YouTube channel Positive Academy. Today we are discussing the book The Kybalion. Now, this book is written in ancient Egypt. You might even don't know who your ancestors, where your seeds are coming from. So this actually is from Egypt, and this actually explains how the universe works. Egyptian people were the most smartest people during their ancient times. So that's why a lot of people just follow this philosophy, the Egyptian ancient philosophy. So basically, this book consists of the seven hermetic principles. It talks about hermetic philosophy in ancient Egypt and Greece. The link I will definitely give you into description because this is a must buy if you want to know about more about universe and understand its principles. Right? Understand the spirituality of the universe. Then it will definitely help you. As you can see, it consists of 58 pages. This book, right? But our main thing is this hermetic principle or hermetic philosophy. So as you can see, it's all about old ancient Egypt, the time where there were pyramids, the Sphinx, right? The birthplace of hidden wisdom, mystic teachings. These all things is from ancient Egypt. These are all our masters, right? There were a lot of things happening in Egypt, and during that time, this book was written. So main thing that I would just want to discuss is the seven hermetic principles. The principles of truth are seven. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key. Before who touches all the doors of the temple open, the Kybalion. The seven hermetic principles, which upon entire hermetic philosophy is based, are as follows. First, the principle of mentalism, the principle of correspondence, the principle of vibration, the principle of polarity, the principle of rhythm, and the principle of cause and effect, and the principle of gender. This seven hermetic principles has been discussed and explained as well as proceed with this lesson. A short explanation of each of this, however, may be well given at this point. So let us first delve the principle of mentalism. All is mind. Everything is in mind. Everything is mindset. This is the Kybalion. As above, so below. As below, so above. The Kybalion. So what does the principle say? The principle embodies the truth that there is always correspondence between the laws and phenomena of various planes of being and life. The whole hermetic reign in these words, as above so below, as below so above. And the grasping this principle gives one meaning of solving many of the dark paradox and hidden secret of the nature. These are the planes beyond our knowing. But when we apply this principle of correspondence to them, we are able to understand that much that would otherwise be unknown to us. This principle of universal application and manifestation. Right? This is the principle of manifestation as well as universal law. The ancient Hermetics considered this principle as one of the most important mental instruments by which man was be able to pry aside the obstacles which hid from the view of the unknown. Its use even taught, just as knowledge of this principle of geometry enables a man to measure the distance between suns, stars, and movements while seated in his observatory, so as the knowledge of principle of correspondence enables man to reason intelligently from known to unknown. So that's why it is said that you dive into unknown, you don't even know what is beyond the other side, right? So as above, so below, as below, so above, as the principle of correspondence. Oh, sorry, I forgot this. The principle of mentalism. My mistake. Okay, this is the first thing, right? So the principle. Oh, okay, so actually, this was that was the second principle, the principle of correspondence that we were referring as above, so below as above, right? But we are talking here about principle of mentalism. So the principle embodies that all is mind. It explains that all, which is substantially reality underlying all the outward manifestation and appearance which we know under the terms of material universe, the phenomena of life, matter, energy, and in short, all that apparent to the material senses is spirit. That's why I already told that you, the spirit is more powerful. Nothing is more powerful as compared to spirit. So you must understand this, right? So which in itself is unknowable and undefinable, which may be considered as a thought of a universal, infinite, and living mind. It also explains all the phenomena world and universe is simply a mental creation of all. subject to the laws of created things, and that universe as a whole, it, yeah, or it's in its past or doing it, has its existence in the mind of all, in which mind we live and move and have our being. The principle establishing the mental nature of the universe easily explain the very mental and psychic phenomena. We are all cyclic in nature, we are all intuitive in nature, that occupy such a large portion of public attention, which without such explanation non-understandable and defies scientific treatment. An understanding of this great hermetic principle of mentalism enables us, individual, to readily grasp the laws of mental universe and to apply the same as well as being in its advancement. This principle explains the true nature of energy, power, and matter, and why all these are subordinate to the mastery of mind. One of the old hermetic masters wrote long ages ago, he who grasps the truth of mental nature of the universe is well advanced on the path of mastery. And these words is as true as today, as the time where the first written. Without this master key, the mastery is impossible, and student knocks in the vain in many doors of the temple. So this is so much important. Everything is mental. When you are mentally powerful, you can do anything. So this is the principle of mentalism. Next, we dive the principle of correspondence already discussed. Next, we have the principle of vibration. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. That's the Kybalion. So when I see that, means you yourself has the frequency of vibration. Every being has a frequency of vibration. The principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion, everything vibrates, nothing is at rest. Facts with the modern science endorses, and which with each new scientific discovery tends to verify, and yet this hermetic principle was initiated thousands of years ago by the master of ancient Egypt. This principle explains the difference between different manifestations of matter, energy, mind, and even spirit. The result largely from varying the rates of vibration from all, which is a pure spirit, due to the grossest form of matter. All is vibration. The higher the vibration, the higher the position in the scale. The vibration of the spirit is such an infinite rate of intensity and rapidly that is practically is just as rest as rapidly moving, which seems to be motionless. And at the other hand, at the scale, there are gross forms of matter which vibration are so low and seem to at rest. Means when you're vibrating with a high frequency, with higher consciousness, with high power, then you are somewhat something different. And but when you are at low vibration, when you are having anxiety, stress, feeling low, then you are some different being. So this corresponds to principle of vibration. So between these poles, there are millions upon millions of varying degrees of vibration, from corpuscles to electrons to atoms to molecules to worlds to universe. Everything is a vibratory motion. This is also true on the planes of energy and force, and also on the mental planes, and even to the spiritual planes. An understanding of this principle, which with the appropriate formulas enables hermetic students to control their mental vibration as well as of the others. The master also applies this principle of conquering a natural phenomena in various ways. He who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the sculpture of power, says one of the old writers. Right, so it's all vibration, it's all thinking, right? So we have completed in total three of the principles. The next comes the principle of polarity. Here the physics come into picture, right? Polarity refers to physics, but let us not dive deep into physics. We are just trying to understand what actually these seven hermetic principles that governs the entire universe means. So everything is dual, right? Everything has a pole, like north pole, south pole. Everything is a pair of opposites, like unlike, same charges, opposite charges, identical in nature, right? But different in degree. Extreme means all the truths are but half truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The Kybalion. So what does the principle say? The principle embodies the truth that everything is dual, everything has two poles, everything has its pair of opposite. Like we gender have man and woman, right? All of which were all hermetic axioms that explain the old paradoxes that have been perplexed so many, which have been stated as follows. Theses and antitheses are identical in nature, but they are in different degree. Opposites are the same, different only in degree. The pairs of opposite may be reconciled. Extremes meet, everything it is and isn't at the same time. All the truths but half truth. Every truth is half false. There are always two sides. Right? The coin has always is two sides. Same goes with that. It's the principle of polarity. Right? So there are two sides to everything. Etc. It explains that everything there are two poles. Opposite express opposite thing. right? Really only the two extremes of the same thing, varying degrees between them to illustrate heat and cold. Although opposite, they are really the same thing. The difference consists in merely of degrees of the same thing. Look at your thermometer and see if you can discover where the heat terminates and the cold begins. There is no such thing as absolute heat or absolute cold. The two terms heat and cold simply indicate varying degrees of the same thing. Right? So it's the same thing, right? It's just an extreme plus thing and a minus thing. The degree is different. That is what it. And that is the same thing which manifests as heat and cold is merely form of variety the rate of vibration. So heat and cold are simply the two poles of which we call it heat and the phenomena attendant thereupon manifestation of the principle of polarity. The same principle manifests in the case of light and darkness, which are the same thing. The difference consists of varying degrees between these two poles of phenomena. Right, so that is the thing. You must understand this. Black and white, hard and soft, sharp and dull, noise and quiet, high and low, positive and negative. So it's all the same thing. They are just having different degrees, right? So it's a polarity, principle of polarity. The principle of polarity explains that these paradoxes are no other principle that can supersede it. The same principle operates on a mental plane. Let us take a radical and extreme example of love and hate. Two mentals are apparently totally different, yet they are their degrees of hate and degrees of love. And in the middle point in which you use the term like or dislike, which shades into each other and so gradually that sometimes we are at toss to know whether we like or dislike or neither. All are simply the degree of the same thing as you will see, but think in the moment and more than consider more of its importance by hermeticism. It is impossible to change the vibration of hate to that of vibration of love in one's own mind and in the mind of others. Many of you who read these lines have personal experience or involuntary rapid transition from love to hate, and the reverse in your own case and that of others. And you therefore we realize the possible of being accomplished by the use of will, by the means of hermetic principles, good, evil, both poles of the same thing. Hermetics understand this art of transmuting evil to good by the means of application of this principle of polarity. In short, the art of polarization become the face of mental alchemy known and practiced by ancient and modern hermetic masters. An understanding of the principle will enable us to change its own polarity as well as that of others. If he will devote time and study necessary to meet the art. So this goes with the principle of polarity. Next, we have the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in, everything has its side, all things rise and fall. Pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing is the right measure of swing, either to right or to left. The rhythm compensates. It is the Kybalion. So the principle embodies the truth that everything that is manifested in measure in motion to and fro, flow and inflow, swing backward and inward, forward and inward. The pendulum-like movement and tend to like ebb and flow, high tide, low tide between two poles, which exists in accordance with the principle of already described a moment ago. There is always action and reaction, right? It is Newton's third law. Behind every action, there is always a reaction. An advancement at the rate of rising and sinking. This is also offers the universe, suns, worlds, man, animals, energy, matter. This law is manifest in the creation and destruction of the worlds and in the rise of falls of nature in the life of all the things that finally in the mental states of man. So this principle is important. The Hermetic have grasped this principle, finding its universal application, also discover certain means to overcome its effect themselves by appropriate formulas and methods. To apply the mental law of universe, they apply the mental law of neutralization. They cannot annul the principle or cause it to cause or its operation, but they learn how to escape its effect, right? How to escape its effect to a certain degree, depending upon the master of the principle. They learn how to use it instead of being used by it, and this is the similar method. Consider the art of Hermetism. The master of Hermetic polarizes himself at the point where he desires to rest and then neutralizes the rhythmic swing of the pendulum, which would tend to carry him on the other pole. All the individuals who have attained the degree in self-mastery, to a certain degree, more or less unconsciously, but the master does this consciously and by the use of his will attains a degree of poise and mental firmness, almost impossible in the belief of the part of masses who swung back and forward like pendulum. The principle and the principle of polarity has been closely studied by Hermetists and the method of counteracting, neutralizing, and using them for the important part of Hermetic mental alchemy. The last is the principle of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for a law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law, the Kybalion. This principle embodies the fact that there is a cause and effect, and every effect has a cause. It explains everything happens according to law, and nothing ever merely happens, and there is no such thing as a chance. That while there are various planes of cause and effect, they are dominating the lower planes, still nothing but entirely except the low. The hermetics understand these arts and matter of rising above the ordinary plane of cause and effect to a certain degree by mentally rising the higher plane. They become more causes instead of effects. The masses of people carried along the obedient environment and the wills and desires of others strongly themselves hereditary suggestion and other outward moves like pawns of chessboard of life. But the master rising to the plane about dominate the moods, characters, qualities, pawns. They help to play the game of life of it instead of being played and move about the master causation of higher planes and but they help to rule their own plane. In this statement, there is considered that the wealth of hermetic knowledge. Let him read who can. It means that everything has consequences. What you do has a cause and it has an effect, right? So those who master certain things will be able to play the game and can change and can alter the effects. That is the thing. The principle of gender. So gender we already know man, woman, right? These are masculine energies, feminine energy that is discussed. Gender is everything, everything is masculine and feminine principle. Gender manifests all the planes, right? The principle embodies the truth that gender is manifested in everything the masculine and feminine principle ever put. The truth is not only physical plane but on mental and other spiritual planes. On the physical plane, the principle manifests sex. On the higher plane, it is higher form, but the principle is ever the same. No creation, physical, mental, or spiritual, is possible without this principle. So let me explain. Like I already told that when you are into body, then you are always into food and sex. But when you are into mind, you are into creativity. You're writing poem, you're creating something. Right? But when you're into soul, you are with the higher super consciousness. Right? So it's levels. So that is the same discuss, right? An understanding of these laws will throw lights on many subject that is purpose in the mind of man. The principle of gender works even in the direction of generation, regeneration, and creation. Everything and every person contains two elements of principle or great principle within it, him or her. Every male thing has a female element, and also every female contains a male principle. If you would understand the philosophy of mental and spiritual creation, generation and regeneration, you must understand study that this hermetic principle. It contains the solution of many mysteries of life. We caution that you this principle has no reference to many base, pernicious and degrading lustful theories. So this basically consists of six hermetic principles that were discussed, right? It is governing entire universe. And it was written in ancient Egypt, right? Long before. Right? Until now, this is already prevailing. And a lot of studies have been already been done, scientific studies and every experiments have been done and proven that we support this principle. So we we do have the roots in ancient Egypt. Ancient people, Egypt people were so much powerful, they were so much capable, right? So we thought that so this all this it's kind of okay. So it's just regarding how you can degrade right when you tend towards lust and all the negative things right you degrade yourself right. But when you rise up above this thing, when you're into higher spiritual things, when you're into higher consciousness, right, you can become more powerful. So I hope that this sixth principle really inspires you and motivates you to know the life and the universe in general. Right? This is the seven hermetic principle that we are talking about in the book Kybalion, right? Written long ago in the ancient Egypt. So I hope that this video really helps. If any of this and consider subscribing for regular dose of positivity. And remember, you are the co-creator of your own life event, whatever you want, read about journey. So I will mention the link of this book in the description, and if you wish, you can just buy. And this covers a lot of things, right? But we just discuss about the basic hermetic principles. There are also different things like divine thing and many things that which you can understand, and it will be helpful from the mind level, right? It will change your thinking and it will definitely help you. So I hope to talk to you soon, maybe in the next video. Till then, bye.